Welcome back to Art Talk. In this video, Julie Schumer and I share our thoughts about what's going on in our art businesses in the hopes that you'll find a kernel that is valuable to you in your own art business. So, Julie, I wanted to start with telling everybody about my art festivals.
Okay.
So that is one segment of my art business. These are usually outdoor events where you set up a tent and you set up your walls and you hang your work. And that's how I kind of started into my art career 26 years ago. So I still do some of them, and they can be quite lucrative and fun, and you really connect with people. You can build your email list quickly, because there's so many people that attend and that are interested in your work. So it's a way to really get eyeballs on the work, build your email list, and collect a lot of data, like what are people attracted to
Right.
in your work. And so they've been extremely beneficial to me these many years. And the caveat would be this month. So during this month, I did a couple of new shows and then a show that I've done for many years. And all of them were not all that great. So it made me think about, how do you find a good show, and what makes a good show and what makes a bad show. Typically what makes a bad show is really easy. It's when you're not selling your work very well. You're not selling enough of it to
Right.
be profitable and to make it worth all the work that goes into doing one of these shows. So, what makes a bad show is that your avatar, the person who buys your work, isn't at the show, or there aren't enough of them at the show. So you might, travel across the country to one of these shows, set up your tent, you're there with, 200 to 300 other artists. And, not everybody does well. It's kind of, it's a big gamble, really. It's like gambling. So
It is gambling for sure.
yeah.
We're about to do the same thing by, taking our work to Miami to a very expensive art fair. And we're
Right.
going to engage in what I call legalized gambling, and we know it's going to be a whole lot of fun. We're going to get to dress up and put on makeup for 5 days and do all that kind of thing. But we'll see how it actually plays out, and we'll see how, who's interested. We know we'll get a lot of eyeballs on the work, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and we know the market's a little soft right now. So for
Mhm.
me, a success in that arena is going to be being introduced to a lot of opportunities that pan out and result in sustained business over time.
Yeah.
That's how all this as a success if that happens.
And, that's a great point. Some of these types of shows, whether they're indoors or outdoors, are simply marketing events where
Mm-hmm.
you are showing your work to a lot of people, hundreds of thousands of people, in fact,
Right.
at some of these events. And then you'll get some leads, or somebody saw your work that you didn't even realize saw your
Mm-hmm.
work. And then they'll contact you in a month or next week. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, actually, the show is fantastic.
Exactly.
So,
And the show can actually be said to encompass a 4 to 6 month period,
yeah.
from when it starts, or maybe a couple of weeks before it starts, to about 4 to 6 months after. Because I've had people contact me and want to buy something that they saw 6 months ago at X fair, you
Wow.
know.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, so you have to take a broad view. I think it's important to remember that.
No, that's key. I did meet a few couples who are renovating their current condo or penthouse or house. And I did bring work over to one of their homes, and they just weren't quite ready because the renovation wasn't completely done. So they were a little unsure about,
Right.
until all the new furniture was in and everything. It was kind of hard for them to picture. So, but I have these leads, and I will follow up with these collectors, because I think that when the time is right, which might be, January,
Right.
February, then the deal will be closed. So it is something you have to stay on top of though, right?
Definitely. Oh gosh, I do a lot of follow-up after these events. Not to the point of being obnoxious about it, but
Right.
just kind of trickling, sort of slow drip kind of way. And usually something comes out of that process at
Yeah.
some point. Maybe not when you think it's going to.
Right.
So you just have to, I think it's patience and perseverance in this arena also, as we've said in other areas of the art business.
Yeah, I think that's key. And the other thing that I'm doing this time of year, I'm starting to evaluate my year and
Mm-hmm.
kind of looking at the things that went well and the things that didn't go well, and
Mm-hmm.
also the things that I really enjoyed doing.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you can have success in your art business, but you might not be having fun doing it.
Right.
And, it feels too much like hard work, or, it feels difficult. And so I'm kind of, going through things with a fine tooth comb, and also evaluating, things like galleries,
Mhm.
which ones are selling well for me, which ones aren't.
Right. I'm doing the same thing. And this year I got into several new galleries, some of which were near and far. And I'm starting to think, well, do I want to pull out of one that's actually closer than some of the others? Because I just don't feel like their audience is my audience. I just can't see it. Even they've
Yeah.
sold 3 pieces in about 6 months, but at the end of the day, the wrong person is walking in there. I know it. I mean, I can see it. And so, do
Yeah.
I just kind of wait it out for a little while longer? Do I go and grab my work, which I can't really do this month anyway? So
Yeah.
it's not a today problem, but it will be one soon.
Yeah.
How am I going to finally decide what to do? And I think for me, in this particular circumstance, it's more of a gut feeling that
Hmm.
it's not
Hmm.
wrong, it's tying up a lot of work. I probably
Yeah.
have 12 paintings there,
Oh,
which is too
wow.
many. It's too
Yeah.
many. Some are little and some are big, big, you know, and
Yeah.
they've already earmarked ones that they want for some sort of quasi show in like the early spring. So that means I'm not really putting those out in the marketplace. So it's kind of a tough decision to decide, well, do I call it? Because they're lovely people too. It's like they're wonderful to work with. They pay in 20 minutes, literally, you can have your money.
Wow.
It's like they're so honorable. So all those things make it be good. But then there's this issue of I've seen the people that walk in there and are buying other people's work
Yeah.
in more quantity. And
Hmm.
then I just know this isn't right.
Yeah,
It's a losing battle, really.
yeah, no, that's tough. I think I have a similar situation.
Mhm.
And, it's a business arrangement when you're working with a gallery,
Right.
and you have to give them, excellent work that
Mhm.
is, that fits their market. And they, hopefully have the kind of person that buys your work coming in the door. But if
Right.
there's a mismatch, at the end of the day,
Yep.
it's not going to be good for them or for you,
Right.
you know. So sometimes it's okay to part ways, and it can be done in a very professional, courteous way. So there's no
Oh,
bridges
absolutely.
bridges burned, and it's just a
Uh-huh.
business decision that it doesn't make business sense.
Right. Right. So we have the same problem right now.
Yeah. So, there's a lot to look at this year. And if
Mhm.
you're an artist out there and you have never done kind of an annual review of your business, I encourage you to consider, looking at, where did you spend money? Did you spend like more money on supplies than you sold paintings? Where did you sell your work? Which venues worked out, which didn't, and all of that. It's really like
Yeah.
just taking a day and saying, I need to know the state of the union. I need to
And it
kind of
really does
know.
take a day,
Yeah.
to look at each and every aspect of the business. There's supplies, there's, how much did you spend in travel?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you know, did you have helpers and what did you have to pay them? And is what they did it help the business grow? All these things that take time to think about.
Yeah. But this is the time to do it.